What's up, guys? I don't know. I get such a funny feeling sometimes when I start recording. Like, I don't know. I just like the vibe. I like sharing the vibe with you, basically, but not in a weird way. No. I don't know. It's interesting. I just like life. I just like the way things feel. I just like the vibe. Honestly, that's all I'm saying. Is I just like the vibe. Okay. I've got some clean clothes, which is always a great feeling. Yeah, it's Monday, so of course I'm getting ready to start my school week, and so that's where I'm headed now. I'm headed to college, and I'm excited. I'm very excited. I feel good. I feel really rested. I just got done eating breakfast. My familiar traditional bacon and eggs, and yeah, there's some stuff out there about cholesterol, whether it's good or bad. Like, we're always told that it's bad, but is it actually good? And is it actually a conspiracy that it's good and that we're not supposed to have it? I believe, from what I understand, if I remember this correctly, cholesterol is what makes your brain. It's what makes up your brain. It's like a big component to your brain, and so it's if there was an agenda and they were trying to keep us dumbed down. All right, somebody took out the stop sign here, so I'm gonna act like it never was there. No. So if there was a conspiracy where they wanted to keep us dumb and dumbed down and just dumb and stay under the oppressive foot, there's all kinds of theories, right? There's so many theories about things, and it's interesting, and I don't think they're that far from reality. I'm not saying they're 100% true, 100% sure, but like, one of the things was COVID-19 was an experiment, and it was an experiment to see how obedient we would be to the New World Order. And so anyway, I'm not trying to come off as crazy or whatever. I'm not trying to incense anyone, but I just think it's interesting, and I hold space for the fact that might be true, 100%. That much space, I hold some space for it, But anyway, it's interesting. But I think that if there was a control scheme of elites, or whatever you want to call them, the New World Order, the globalists. Well, there are such things as globalists that want a one world government and stuff like that. There are people like that. They do exist, and they do meet in like a Bilderberg meeting every year or something like that, or in Davos and different things like that. But are they as bad as some people say they are, like Alex Jones? Are they that bad, the globalists and all? Anyway, my point is if there was a group that wanted to keep the masses under a certain level of control, and who wanted to not just in that they don't want us to have our freedom, or think for ourselves, but they want us to remain in a certain, let's just say, in a certain field where they can influence things enough to where they don't have to worry about us, and they pretty much have us doing what they want us to do. I think that that's totally true. I think that that's been a total effort for a long time. I think that ever since the government plotted the assassination of John F. Kennedy, a sitting U.S. president, and killed him in broad daylight in front of the U.S. public, and then lied about it, for years. I think that they're willing to do it. I'm pretty sure they're willing to do anything. But I just think that if they wanted to keep us in a controlled box, what they would do is they would do everything they could to keep us from figuring things out, right? They wouldn't want us to figure things out, right? It's like in the Matrix, right? And the Matrix is the quintessential example of what I'm talking about, because what I'm talking about is a matrix that we all live in because that's what they want us to be in, and it's a form of control. I don't know who knew I was going down this rabbit hole today. I don't know who knew about these thoughts that I would be talking about all this today, because I didn't. But it's just interesting. It's just interesting how it goes, you know? And shout out to my friend Carlos from Reno. We used to joke. We just used to talk about this kind of stuff. And my nickname was Bringer of Truths. Anyway, it's pretty funny. But if they were gonna keep us, if there was a certain elite group of people who wanted the masses to stay in a controllable area, meaning they pretty much don't have to worry about us, they don't have to worry about us exposing them, they don't have to worry about us figuring things out, all those kinds of things, then I would probably, if I was them, I would probably do a bunch of things to keep us dumbed down, right? So I would plot us against each other using division through politics, right? I would plot us against each other with division through race, and insist that racism is a constant theme. I would insist that it is such a problem. There's racism everywhere, and that it's ruining the world. I would insist that there's a global scheme like that, and then I would insist that you can't just get rid of it because it's institutionalized. I would say things like that. I would come up with concepts like critical race theory. I would come up with things that say there's nothing you can do to get rid of racism except for be anti-racist. And then you say, well, how do you be anti-racist? And then it says, well, you must hate racism, and you must hate racists, and you must do everything you can to destroy racists, basically. Well, who's a racist? And then they say, oh, actually, everybody's a racist. That's what they say. So, hello guys, wake up. Do you not see this? Do you not see how this is absolutely insane? Of course, like, come on, don't drink the Kool-Aid, okay? If you want to make Kool-Aid, buy it from the store or Dollar General or whatever, and make it at home and drink it and sit down and drink your Kool-Aid happily in peace. Sit down with a smile on your face as you drink your Kool-Aid. But don't drink the Kool-Aid that they give you. Don't ever drink the Kool-Aid they give you. It's not right. It's not good. It's bad for you. So anyway, I'm just saying that if I was a global elite power structure and I wanted to keep the public dumbed down enough so we would never have to worry about them, I would feed them lies and misinformation, which has been clearly the case for a while. And I would use the main news networks to control this agenda and support it. And I would demonize anyone who questions it. Anyone, and just disappear them. Unfortunately, people get disappeared for things. It's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, so I'm just saying what I would do if I was in that position. And then I say, look at the world and ask yourself, is that what's going on? Do you see those kinds of things happening? Well, the answer to me is very, very clear. Yes, I do see those things going on, unfortunately. And does that mean what everything I said is true? Does it mean that all that is true? I'm not sure. I think so. I'm not sure, but I think so. But at the same time, am I worried about it all? No. Does that mean I just go along to get along? No, not necessarily, and not really. Should we all just put our heads down and be like, okay, well, you know what to do. Well, you know what they said on MSNBC. You better follow what they said. No, absolutely not. And I think that anyone with a thinking mind who hasn't been corrupted by the corrupt agenda of the controlling initiative would not do those things. You should not believe the mainstream media. Just don't. Okay? because basically on a surface level don't, because they have an agenda. How many times have you ever seen that meme or that revealing video of the guy on CNN filming the flood? It's like this town has gotten all this rainfall and it's flooding, and he's standing out there, and he's up to his waist in water, and they're filming him. He's got the microphone, he's talking, he's reporting about the flood. But meanwhile, like, you see another picture, the camera pans out, and it totally disproves the entire concept that the flood is as bad as it is. Like, it's totally an agenda. Like, they can film. Like, do you realize that? Like, if you say things a certain way, you can attempt to frame reality a certain way by your words, by the way you describe it. That's exactly what they do and can do with a camera. So, and the fact that they do it is not, it's not a question anymore, really. It's not really a question. It's they do it. They do it all the time. And, there's an agenda, unfortunately. And I do want to say that I do have genuine, really good hope in the future. Not just because of Donald Trump, ultimately because of Jesus Christ, and ultimately because of what I know about the future and the way things are going to go. Like, things are going to get really bad, but if you're a follower of Jesus Christ and you're on the covenant path and you're doing the things you're supposed to do, you'll be protected from those things. In other words, it'll be really bad for some people, but it won't necessarily be bad for you. That's where my hope really is, because I'm really ultimately not worried because of that. But in the shorter term, in the shorter spectrum, I also have more hope and less fear, because I really do believe that the way things have been going lately, and it has been surprising me, and it does make me wonder. It does make me wonder about things, because it makes me wonder what that control scheme, or whatever you want to call them, what they're going to do. Because Donald Trump won, and he's not a perpetuator of propaganda. He's not. If you try to tell him what to do, he's gonna laugh at you. He's, you know what I mean? Like, if you try to control him, is what I'm saying. He's gonna laugh at you. You can't. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You can't outsmart him, basically. Like, he knows better. And I'm not trying to make him infallible or anything like that. I'm just saying that we're very lucky to have him as a president, and it's very interesting the way things are going. And I think that the globalists realized, I think they honestly did realize that they needed to let things play out the way they did, because if they didn't, they would have a really big problem. And that's why I don't think they cheated in this last election at all. I mean, there may have been some cheating, because the country is so big, and there's so many different districts and everything where people are voting. Of course, there's probably some cheating. They always use, and if you don't know this, I mean, I'm not crazy. This is absolutely true. Yeah, this is absolutely true. But they do this. They've cheated in the elections for a long time. And one of the ways they do it is they use dead people's vote. And so there are databases, and it's been proven. You can look into it and see who has voted, right? And you will find what will you find? Oh, it's amazing. This fire truck with the ladder up like that. It's amazing. You will find that, see it in the mirror right there? It's a big crane with the American flag hanging from it. Yeah, buddy. Love it. Love to see it. Choke on freedom, America haters. Anyway, I forgot what I was talking about. There's a big agenda, right? And they just want to control everything. And I think that they realized, oh yeah, they use dead people to vote sometimes. There's databases that prove it. There is definitely voting corruption. I mean, let me ask you a simple question, okay? Why do you think that some people fight so hard against the idea that people should be required to show ID in order to vote? Why fight so hard for that. And you can say, well, it's a fundamental freedom. You shouldn't have to prove who you are to vote because it's your American privilege, American right. And they're trying to suppress the vote by requiring IDs. You could say that, but literally, dude, you should have an ID. And I'm not trying to be on the globalist side to say like, oh, you need to get everything. You need to be vaccinated. You need to be stamped. You need to have all this identification. We need to have a strand of your DNA on file. All this kind of stuff. Like, I'm not trying to say all that, and they probably do, but I'm not trying to say all that. But it's such a fundamental. It's like, okay, you have to show ID to buy cigarettes or alcohol or anything. You have to show ID, right? You have to show ID when you cash a check. You have to show ID when you open a bank account, because if you don't, you could be anyone. You could be lying. That's the whole point. So because individuals can achieve fraud, then why in so many situations, then why would we not want to keep them from achieving fraud in situations such that are as important as our elections? And that's what I'm saying, that the one side of the agenda, they don't even know it. They don't even know it, but they're totally in line with this agenda that says, let's open the border, let's bring everybody into the country, let's flood the country with anyone and everyone who wants to come in. Let's suspend all laws and let them all come in for free with no resistance, and let's hook them up with cell phones and hotel rooms and government money and everything like that. Let's hook them all up and everything. It's insane, right? The reason they're doing that is because they want more people to come in. Why do they want more people to come in? They want more people to come in because that's their voter base. They know that the regular, and if you look at the results of the recent election, you'll know this is true as well. There is no actual way that the majority of the country actually believes that that we should just let everybody in and let them come on in. Like, that's not what the majority of the country believes. And the majority of the country does not believe, as the vote has shown, most of the country does not believe in the agendas of the Democratic Party, of Kamala Harris, which she's not even the leader. She's literally just a puppet. She's literally, a puppet is a kind of a harsh phrase, but she's literally just a figurehead. She's literally the talking head, the voice they put into place. And I think they knew they were going to lose. They really knew they were going to lose because they lost in 2020 as well, but they cheated, so they won. See? And they knew that they knew they couldn't win that election. They knew they couldn't, and they didn't. That's why they stole it, because that's the only way to win it. And that's the same. And so by the time it came around to this election, they knew with the uproar that had happened, with all the attention and all the talk about the insecure, insecure elections, that there are too many questions, and people are questioning things, and people are looking, and there are American patriots who like James O'Keefe of I forget what his thing was, but James O'Keefe is awesome, and Project Veritas, and he's not with Project Veritas anymore because they became corrupt. But basically, he's a guy who exposes corruption all the time, and he's always out in the field. He's always catching people saying stuff, and he's always like recording people like these executives when they don't know he's recording them, and getting them to say stuff and then exposing them because they should be exposed for their corruption. But anyway, I think this time around, this election, they knew they couldn't cheat. They knew they couldn't cheat. Because if they cheated this time, they'd be done. They would be sunk forever. See, if someone thinks that you're stealing, and if enough people think that you stole, or that you may have stolen, then a certain amount of people are going to be watching you next time around. And if you get caught stealing then, what does that mean? That means that you definitely stole the first time. You just didn't get caught, right? So that's what they were facing. That's what they were facing in this last election, and that's why they didn't cheat the way they did last time around. If you look at the vote totals, there is no, I don't know how anyone, well, how should I say this? It's absolutely crystal clear that they stole the election in 2020. And I hope this video doesn't get deleted by YouTube, because that's what YouTube does, because it's fascist, basically. It's pro-censorship and all this kind of stuff. It's part of the agenda as well, you know. But if you look at the vote totals of all the different presidential elections, and then look at how many they say Biden got in 2020, there's no chance he got that many votes. There's just no chance. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. It's like Democratic candidates, let's say, they said, what was it? Let's say 59 million, 55 million, 60 million, 69 million at the high for Obama, maybe. This is the gist of the trend I want you to see here. 50 million, 55 million, 59 million, 60 million, 69 million. I think let's say 69 million was the high point, and that was Obama, okay? 69 million votes, okay? Now, yes, the population is increasing, yes, but let me just ask you this. They said Biden got 80 million votes. They said he got over 80 million. 80 million. Do you honestly think Biden could have ever gotten 11 million more votes than Obama did? I don't. And then you have the whole system of the mail-in voting and everything that was fraudulent, of course, and they'll fight you tooth and nail to tell you it's not, it never was, and it can't be. It's so secure. Our elections are so secure that if you actually question them, we'll lock you up. Oh yeah, it must be real secure if you have to lock people up over it, don't you? Yeah, see, that's my point. It's not secure. It's not secure at all. And if you and here's the thing, I pointed this out before. I was talking to somebody about this. When it comes to our elections, and it comes to talking about them being secure or not, they have to be secure. That's the point. They have to be secure. And so if anyone comes around to this point where they're like, well, you have no right to come in here and question us because we do this, 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 and this. We have a 7-step verification process and there's no corruption. Okay, I want to point something out for you guys, okay? Because yes, I know you guys work